Good afternoon, creator. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty well. If you are asking, I'm doing well. Just kind of my normal routine. I stay home every day anyway, so I'm just happy to be here crafting and creating and chalking. And I know a lot of you like to watch me create. So today I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. I'm going to work with some torn scrapbook paper. We're going to paint on a canvas first, apply some scrapbook paper, and show you how I treat that. And then chalk on every little thing is going to be all right. Which I bought this a while back, and it's true. This is so true. Everything is going to be all right. We just got to go through this staying at home business and slow down that virus out there. So let's get started. I want to make sure you can see me okay. And if you would like to share this to other people who like to create, that would be awesome. You can see me okay. Got to turn down my volume. Perfect. All right. Let me get this set up so I can watch the comments. Say hello, hello if you're watching. And I might, actually I rarely do, but I might go ahead and send this over to my personal page, actually. There. Maybe get some more of my Facebook friends that are bored and wanting something to do. All right, let's put this away. I'll set it over here. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so say hi if you're watching. Awesome, awesome. Okay. So, I got this canvas. This is a linen canvas. I got a bunch of these on like a clearance at Michael's last year. And so I don't know if they're still available or not, but it's kind of a tan color canvas. Linen, and to me these colors don't, sometimes they work great as a background color, but sometimes you'd rather have a white background or like a black, as in black chalkboard for our prints to show up on. You got to make sure of your positive and negative space and making sure you're working with the right colors. So I'm going to actually spread on a little bit of fusion paint, maybe with just a touch of this color, which is like an aquamarine, Dutch aqua. And I just use any craft paints that I have around to give a little depth to my surface coloring that I'm using, whether I'm painting wood or canvas. I kind of just blend in the colors, also using water. And then I'm going to put strips of this like I used to do. I haven't done much of it lately, but I'm sure you've seen, if you follow me at all, a lot of my designs that have scrapbook paper here and here at the torn edge. I started doing those a year and a half ago probably, and I haven't done a lot of them lately because I just fell in love with Chalk Couture's patterns now. So I like to do a lot of layering with color and pattern, and then put the sentiment or a object, whether it's the watering can or the beehive, animals, whatever. So I like to layer all the patterns in the back or color. But today we're going to do some of the scrapbook paper, and I'm going to color this a little bit with paint. I don't have an exact plan. This is kind of how I do. I just kind of almost make it up as I go. So I'm always hoping that it turns out. And sometimes you just got to experiment. I don't have any set rule on how things are going to work or set direction. I mean, I just try it. All you have to do is try. Just like with anything in life, you just gotta try it. And I make it up as I go, basically. So I got 2 brushes out. One I'm going to leave for Mod Podging later, the paper on, and Mod Podging. And then the other one I'm going to do with the paint. And let's see, I might need, I always keep my neutrals handy, grays and browns, because I will blend those in with the colors to give it some depth in the coloring. I won't need white. So sometimes if I'm working with a dark color, I will blend in maybe white if I want to lighten it up, or black and grays and browns, just to give it some dimension. But first I'm going to just swipe on some white, and I'm going to use my Fusion Mineral Paint for that. I love Fusion Mineral Paint. It's a nice thick paint, and so these colors are more like dyes for this, really. So, and I'm not going to make sure that I get all of this covered. I'm going to leave some brush strokes coming out, even though a lot of that will be covered up with the paper. So I might actually open up brush strokes where the paper will be. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, you know, like 2 inches of paper here, or 1.5 inches, and then 2 inches down here. So I want the brush strokes to be seen. I want the linen to be seen underneath the brush strokes, if that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense or not, but I'm going to wet my brush first. I like to work with a wet brush and just a little bit of paint, and just start brushing it on. And it kind of is beading up on this, because this canvas probably has a coating on it, or some kind of a, whatever they call it in art. I don't even know all the terms. So I'm just going to brush it on really lightly. And I'm trying to think if I've even painted this canvas much before yet. I think I have. I'd have to go back through all my projects photos and see. I'm pretty sure I've painted on this before, but ever so lightly. Like I said, there's really no rule. I mean, do what makes you happy. Feel like an artist. I am no means an artist, but I like to feel like an artist when I'm doing this. Who knows if it's right or wrong? You just gotta go for it. See how things turn out, you know? So, hi, you're pushing hearts, but tell me who you are, who's watching. I only see a number of people watching. So say hello. I'd love to know how you're doing. So we're getting some of this Dutch aqua. This is folk art paint. I usually don't buy the cheapest paint at the craft store, but a lot of mine is the folk art. Looks like. My theory is the more expensive, the better quality. So now I just put a dab. You see that? I put my brush in the water, even though this is water that has some white paint in it. I'm blending it all together. So just a little dab. I just work with little dabs at a time. Hi, Lynette from Oklahoma, and Brenda and Lori. Hello, hello. Okay, so I'm just going to dab it on here, okay? And then I'm just going to try to blend it in. Not completely blend it in. I want to have strokes of it, right? The one thing disappointing about this canvas is it's not super tight. It's kind of warped, like it should have been pulled tighter. So that's kind of a bummer, but maybe that's why they were on clearance. I don't know. So I'm not coming all the way down to the edges because I'm going to have that paper there anyway, and I want to be able to see the ending of my brush strokes. So I don't want to go all the way down. I don't want it to be solid looking. Okay, so that's probably enough blue. I don't want it to be too dark because I'm probably going to have to do my chalk in the dark navy that I've made or in black in order for everything to show up well off of the light background. That makes sense. So let's, I don't know if I want to put any more coloring in there. I'm wondering if I shouldn't do more of a green. Let me grab a green. I just have some craft paints up here. And I don't carry a whole lot of colors. I just try to do, because I will lighten and darken with the other, either white or black. So here's kind of my greens. So let's see what's going to work. Or maybe even this. This is kind of like a, what do you want to call this? Jade? They're calling it black green. So I'm trying to pick up colors off this paper, but ever so slightly. I want to be in the right family of color. So maybe this one. But I'm afraid it's going to be too dark. Maybe we'll just go with green. It's called bright green. And like I said, it's just paint. And it may not turn how you want, but you can always change it out a little bit. So that's kind of a lot of green on my brush. So I'm just going to take some of it off because I want just a hint of it. Okay, and then get your brush nice and wet so we can blend it. So basically, you need to find your inspiration. My inspiration is my paper that I picked out for my color palette. I'm liking the green in it. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of getting there. And I don't really want to add the navy because I think my print, the chalk print that I make with my transfer will be in navy, will be in the blue. So I don't want the dark blue in the background. Okay, if that makes sense. Hi, Maria. I'm watching for inspiration and calmness. I know, right? That's why I'm chalking. I've been on the social media, on Facebook, watching a bunch of stuff. And, you know, everything's going to be all right. We just need to, what we're doing is slowing down the process. So, making sure we have time to get plenty of ventilators in for people that's going to need them in the future. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with this now. I'm glad that I brought in the green. We're still seeing a little bit of the canvas color coming through too, which gives it the tan. So I'm liking that color. So I think I'm going to stop there with my background paint and push these all aside. I've been working on the projects I'm going to do for Couture Design Studio next week. So I've been working on those too. And I'm trying to come up with something that's different that everybody's doing. So hi from Louisiana. Hi Vicki. Hello, hello. I'm getting from all over the country. That's awesome. Yep. Okay, so we want to dry this. I'm going to put my Fusion Mineral paint away too. These lids never like to screw on straight, it seems like. This is a brand new jar. Okay, so let's dry this. I'm going to plug in my glue gun just in case I would need it, but I'm planning on using Mod Podge on the paper. And if you are just joining, we are going to actually work with what I used to do a lot of was the scrapbook paper on the bottom and top of the canvas strip of it. I'll show you how I do that. And then we're going to be chalking on every little thing is going to be all right. That is the motto of the day. Every day for the next how many weeks. Okay. So I think we're set. You can see the coloring in there well. We did a little bit of the raw silk for the white of Fusion Mineral Paint. Then I just used craft paints to brush in some blues and greens. Just to kind of give it some character instead of just chalking on a plain white or in this case tan background. Just get a little more artsy looking, right? Hi Vicky. Vicky, we have, oh yeah, Vicky's a popular name. I always have several Vicky's watching. Vicky Hunter, good morning. What a great time for that saying, right? I know, and I ordered this a while back. I mean, this might be one of our new transfers, I think, in our catalog. So I would have ordered it back, in February. I just haven't used it yet. So, yes. Perfect. Now, let's cut our paper. So, another question I get asked a lot is, where do I get my paper? A little bit I'll buy at the stores, your local hobby stores. But unless you go to a scrapbooking store, they have the better quality paper, and most of them are two-sided, and they're thicker. I like the thicker ones. So I've ordered also online, scrapbook.com, and then I was at a, I always forget the name, what they call it, where people come and work on their scrapbooks and stuff. And they had I was showing Couture there. And there was a gal there that had tons and tons and tons and tons of scrapbook paper because she closed her store and she was selling it super cheap, like 10 pieces for $1 or something like that. So I went through it and found a bunch of paper that I liked. And this may or may not have been one of them. I don't know where I got this one. So a lot of them were discontinued papers. And a lot of them that I tried to pick up were like the vintage looking papers because I like to do vintage looks. So, but this one is by Kaiser Craft. I don't know. I just like the texture here, and then it's got white brick, painted white brick on the back. So it's kind of cool. So we're going to put both the white and the blue green on this piece. So first thing, and I'm gonna work. Sometimes I'll pick which coloring I like. I like this one because it's a little bit. I like this side because it's a little bit lighter down here. And if I'm gonna do my wording, my chalking in the navy, I don't want a whole lot of the dark blue showing. I mean, it's mostly going to be on the canvas, but some of it, like the word right, is probably going to end up overlapping onto the paper. So I want to make sure I have a nice light color for that. So we're going to have to just see how that works. Or it may end up, and I usually like to put the darker color on the bottom of my canvas and the lighter color towards the top, just so it doesn't look top heavy. You want to put the darker color on the bottom, usually. It also depends on the pattern, but that's usually what I do. So if I'm going to use this end, I'm going to have to cut off the name and the trim, the price tag and everything off of here. So let's cut that off. And I'm always surprised at all the Vickies. I know. Yeah, crazy. So how wide? I'm only thinking maybe this wide. And what I'm also thinking is not putting this bird on, but I have a metal feather that I might lay in the bottom here. So if I don't do the bird and I bring the word every up towards the top a little bit, I think I'm going to try to avoid having to chalk on the paper. And I think that is probably what's going to happen here. So I think that'll look okay. I'm going to embellish it differently than the bird. So I always tear off about 1/4 of an inch of the paper when I do the tearing of the edge. So if I cut it at 2, That's actually going to put me right there. So I'm going to cut 2 inches, and then we'll probably tear off about 1/4 of an inch when we do the tearing process, which I'll show you. So I almost forgot this light one was at the top. So I'm going to do this one here, 2 inches. And the one cool thing about this size of a canvas and having a 12-inch paper is that I'm going to wrap it around the edge, okay? So the edge will be papered, and you won't have that. If I cut it right here, there's a chance of it getting caught, or might get caught and get torn up. So we're going to wrap it around like that, okay? So we're going to tear this, and then we need some top. We need some brick. So I'm going to do not so wide on the top. So I cut 2 inches. So let's cut like maybe I'm going to do 1 3/4 inch. Okay. So we'll have that towards the top. And then we're done with this paper. So I can put that away. We're done with the Couture and the ruler. Okay, so this is the top edge. So I'm just going to tear. Now when I start to tear, I tear up. So so some of the white torn paper is exposed. If you tear it down, then you don't get any of that white edge, which is okay. But you'll see when I wax my paper with dark wax that it antiques that white edge. So it's not going to be white when we're done, okay? So kind of come up, go up, and then back in. So you have a very uneven look to it. And even some of this white is really separating, which it's going to be cool. You'll see. Okay, so we can throw that away. Same thing for the top. And we're gonna, sometimes like on here, like, okay, this is a straight brick. And sometimes I will leave that straight because, brick is not going to be torn necessarily. So I might leave it straight. Or I might not put any at all, because I do like the featherness of my paint. So I may not even use it. I'm kind of thinking I won't. I think I'm just going to put it on the bottom like this. And then let the feathering of the paint be shown. Because if I cover it, you're not going to see it. And I kind of like it being there. Right? It looks good with the mimic of the torn paper on the bottom. Kind of repeats that torn look up here. So I'm thinking I'm not going to use the white brick. You see the difference? I like it. I like it without it, definitely. So I'm not going to use it, okay? I'll save this for another project. I'll put it up here. I have tons and tons of scrapbook paper. Okay, so we're not going to do the top. We're just going to do the bottom. But first we need to wax this. Two reasons. One, I like to darken the white edge. Also, when my transfer gets laid on top of this paper, it could stick to the paper and then tear the paper when you lift up your transfer. So waxing the paper keeps that from happening, keeps your transfer from tearing and getting stuck on the back of your paper. And that is hard to get off once paper gets stuck to the back of your transfer, depending on how sticky your transfer is. But if it's super sticky, that paper's not going to come off, okay, even if you fuzzed it. So wax this, and you can use a clear wax. If you want to leave that white, use a clear wax, but I like to darken it, because when we're all done, I'm going to then put the dark wax over all of this again, and that will darken everything down just a little bit, just to make it a little vintage, give it depth. Not only that, but the wax protects your chalk paste. So there's several reasons for allowing that wax to get on your paper. Okay, so I can't open her. All right. Yeah, I love the top too. I'm always surprised at all the cookies. Okay, so I don't have any more questions. I keep my rag inside my wax can because it keeps it soft. Otherwise, you'd have a really stiff rag because the wax hardens when it dries, which is why it's good for protecting your artwork. So if you keep it in the can, it keeps it soft and you can just keep reusing it. Okay, so I'm just rubbing a little bit on my rag and then rubbing it on the paper, the whole strip, okay? Because we don't want the transfer sticking to it and tearing the paper and ruining your transfer. So get plenty on there. Hello, Joyce. And if you're designers, don't forget that I'm going to be on Couture's Designer Studio next Thursday. That'll be announced in tomorrow's newsletter. And it's at 4 o'clock Central Time. Okay, so we've loaded up the wax on the paper. And we're going to use this later, so I'm going to leave it out. And now we need to get our Mod Podge. Mod Podge. People like to say Mod Podge, but it's Mod Podge. I'm one of them. Just like I like to put the R in wash, like my mom says. Okay, so we're going to center it right in here, and we're going to wrap it around. Put it on the back. The reason I got my glue gun on is if that doesn't want to stick very, very quickly with just the Mod Podge, then I can put a little hot glue back here and get it down faster. Okay. So I take my brush that I'm saving for my Mod Podge, and I'm just gonna put it on pretty thick because you really want it to stick well to the canvas here. So put it on thick. And you know, the reason I started, I am not a scrapbooker, but I love scrapbook paper, just like I love textiles. I love to decorate, so I love fabrics and textures for your walls, not your walls, but fabrics and, you know, your flooring. And I love, so to me, designing a piece of work with Couture is like designing a room. I think about all the different things. You got your canvas, or your surface is kind of like your flooring or your walls, however you want to look at it. So scrapbook paper to me was just another way to get another design element into my design, into my art piece. So that's why I started working with scrapbook paper. And like I said, I didn't have any, so I've been collecting it. And sometimes I'll just go through my paper for inspiration, not only maybe to use on a project, or just for coloring, just to figure out color schemes for a design. So I'm just wrapping it around, okay, pressing it down. And since this is the canvas, I'm going to try to press it down from the back too, just to see if I can get it nice and tight. And hopefully that's going to stick without having to add any hot glue to it. Okay, so we got it on pretty good. Just gonna keep folding it and press. Make sure you get all the air bubbles out, because it does like to make air bubbles. So keep working it. Okay. Now we're ready to chalk. Put my brush in the water. And usually I take Clorox wipe and just wipe all this glue up. But I'm trying not to use them too much, so in case I can't get more of them. I'll just take it something old here. Just so nothing really gets stuck to my Mod Podge here on the cardboard. Okay, so let's get this out. Now, I gotta decide. I make my own navy, and it's really, really dark, and sometimes it almost looks black. But I think I'm gonna do it in navy. We're not gonna do the bird, because I'm going to add, I hope I have some out. I have these metal feathers. Oh, here they are. This was on a big garland thing of feathers. And I've had these forever. And I have more of them. But I'm going to take a feather and we'll glue it down here at the bottom. And we're not going to do the bird. So this can raise up a little bit. And we'll put the feather down here. Okay? I think that would be pretty. And I actually like this particular one. So I'm going to cut it off. And then I will use a combination of E6000 and hot glue to put that in place. Because I think the E6000 is a stronger glue, but the hot glue gets it set quickly. So I can't wait to see you there. Great. Hi, Marty. Joyce. I think I said hi to Joyce already. Hi, Jeannie. All right. So I have not used this yet, so the question is, do I need to fuzz it? I don't think it's going to hurt to fuzz it, especially on paper. Even though I wax that occasionally, if it's super sticky, it'll still tear my paper, even though I waxed it. So let's lay down my fuzzing cloth here. Terry cloth side up. And set this on there. Get some of that fuzz off onto the back of the transfer. And that's so it will lift up easier and not be so sticky. That was my sanding paper. Okay. Sometimes just stick it on your shirt too. I'm getting some stuff on there I don't really want. I don't want to leave any. It's pretty sticky, which is good. Hi, Diana. You'll have to go back and watch. We painted this canvas and applied some of our scrapbook paper that I tore and waxed. I keep wanting to remember that we're not doing that bird. And I'm going to put that leaf kind of half on the paper, half off the paper is what I'm thinking. And so spacing, I think it's pretty good right in here. I like that little bird on this, but I think the weight of the, I don't mean physical weight, but the visual weight of the feather is going to look pretty right there. So I just want to make sure it's not too high. Like, I just want to get the, visually look at what it's going to look like. Another thing we could do is wrap some twine and have it hang down a little bit right here. It would look neat too. We'll see. I'm just pressing it down really well. If you're smart, sometimes you can put a book under here to make that a little more firm surface, but I think I'll be all right. Okay, so I made my navy, which I just did a little bit of black inside, either if you have Liberty or Cadet blue, just add a little bit of black to it and you'll get a nice deep navy. And they used to make navy, so this is still my navy jar that I just keep adding to it. Okay, it's kind of thick, so I'm gonna put a little bit of water in it. Yeah, my lifestyle hasn't really changed because I'm at home all the time by myself. My husband usually comes home for lunch, but he's still working. He's a funeral director, so he still has work to do. So I think tomorrow, though, I am going over to my daughter's house. Her 2 kids are home. One's in kindergarten, the other one's 3. And lately the dad, my son-in-law Kyle's been staying home with them, but I don't know if he's getting much work done. So they want to know if I would come over and entertain the kids. So I might be doing that tomorrow. He's an engineer. He designs railroad bridges mostly, and he can work from home. But that doesn't mean that his work's getting done, right? Or done as much as he'd like to. I think he's still going to be there. I think his office is shut down. I'm not 100% sure, but he just needs to get stuff done. If he feels like he's getting behind. Okay, so we got this done in our deep navy that we made. Peel this up. We really didn't have to worry about the transfer being on the paper, but that's going to be pretty. Okay, and I have my little tub of water down here, so I'm just going to lay that in the water. Start getting wet. And it's kind of wanting to fall on itself. There we go. There. Okay, that turned out really pretty, actually. You see it? Now, the brightness of that blue in the canvas is going to deepen a little bit when we put on either some distressing ink and the dark wax. Hopefully it's in focus for you. I don't know, the camera's kind of blurry right now. There we go. Okay, see, it kind of looks black on screen, but actually it's a deep navy. It's really pretty, bringing up these deep navy tones down here. So stunning. Love it. We're not even done. We have to accessorize a little bit. We could be done, but let's take it up a notch and put that feather on it. At least we'll see what that does. Okay. Now it's got this loop on it. I'm going to cut that off with my wire cutters because I don't want a loop. I just want this feathered end straight out. I have to take the string off so I can cut it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. Snip it. There we go. And we're going to lay it right in here. Like I said, I'm going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue. Like I said, the E6000 is going to make it really adhered really well, and the hot glue will set it in place because this takes a while for it to dry and set, so that way I don't have to worry about it shifting around on me. I always have trouble opening anything anymore. I've gotten my hands have gotten weaker, I think. So put some dots of this on. I'm not exactly sure what. I think the down the middle is what's going to touch the paper first, but let's put some white dots of hot glue. Okay. Just going to press that canvas into that glue on the back. Looks kind of neat. I probably should have put the wax on first before I glued it, but we'll just try to do it around it. Got ahead of myself just a little bit. I think I did all right. Again, I'm using the Min Wax Special Dark. 2 reasons. One, mainly because I like how it's going to deepen the tone of the paint, and it'll also seal in and protect that font. Even if it was this is very thin and, you know, not heavy in chalk, but even on the heavy chalks, it'll age that too. Like if you had a wide area of chalk, this is all very fine, but the chalk paste will change it up a little bit. It'll, especially the either wax, plain or stained. I guess I'm assuming this is dry. Maybe I should dry it a little bit. Oh goodness. Another thing we could do before we put on the wax is use our distressed ink. And I actually have it in green and blue. I was just messing around to see what that would look like, because I've had the brown, but I've never had the colored. And since we're working with blue and green, I mean, let's just see what it kind of does. We put it on the edges. I could almost mix them. I have 2 little sponges. This is Distressed Ink by Tim Holtz, I believe is his name. It's got a lot of antique-y looking scrapbook type stuff. Again, this just gives it more dimension. You just gotta mess with it, you know? And you kind of don't want to forget your edges, because they might stick out like a sore thumb if they've never been treated or darkened, you know? So don't forget them. And I will also rub the wax on them too, just to darken them up a little bit. Like, I don't know if you can see, but I put like a little tuft of it there. Like, you just kind of want to do little areas every once in a while, highlights and lowlights kind of around, and draw your attention to the same. So I don't know if you can, I kind of wish we had a before and after we inked it, just so you can see the difference. So it's really pretty. You can still see our brush strokes from the edge of our paint, and then this kind of just darkened it and just framed it out a little bit more, I guess you could say. It's really pretty. After we photograph it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's amazing how a slight difference, adding a slight coloring of distressed ink can make a difference in the depth of your artwork. And this is stuff I'm all learning. I am by no means an artist. I just I know what I like, and I'm just going to go with that. This canvas is kind of rough. Which is kind of cool because the roughness takes the wax in the different heights of the canvas, so it kind of gives it even more texture. You probably cannot see from where I'm at here, but and if there's too much wax in one place, whether you're working on a board or whatever, take a clean paper towel and just kind of wipe it, because you'll get some of it to come up. If it's like collected in one area that you didn't want it to be so much, just wipe it up. It comes up, okay? It's kind of like fine-tuning the sanding, but you're actually doing it to the wax. Now, I think I'm going to be done. You could go on and do twine and all that, but you know what? Most artwork doesn't have bows and ribbons on them. It's just, more like plain and simple. So I'm kind of liking it just like this. And to me, this is more, what's the word? Artist, I don't know. It's got more than just put it on a plain canvas and calling it done. We did a lot more artistic flair to it. A little bit more character. Right? So I hope you can see it there. Yeah. And like this dark area, I kind of like that. I like how you got your highs and lows. I like that look. I think it's just pretty. And I might put the bird back on there. I don't know. The bird would correlate with the feather, and it might look cute. I don't know. I can't decide. Or even if the bird was over here, I don't know. Your eye would follow. I might mess with that. You can always add more to it. Just because I waxed it doesn't mean I can't chalk on it again, obviously. So I might put the bird, if he fits. I don't know if he will. Or like him land, because it's kind of like to me it looks like what a bird looks like when he's building a nest. He's kind of carrying something. He's not having it in his mouth, but he's kind of like he's going into a nest or going to hover around a nest is what he looks like. So I don't know whether to add the bird or not, but I kind of like it like this too. So that's it, guys. We're going to do a simple project today, and I still haven't watched a Star is Born. You know, if you watched the other day, I got stuck in the old DVD player. Yes, I watch DVDs still from Netflix. They send them to the mail. I have a queue, and then when I send one back, I get the next one. It's really pretty quick. Like, you get them within a few days. But anyway, it got into my DVD player, and it wouldn't go. I tried to open it, wouldn't open. The button ended up getting pushed into the machine. I had to tear the whole machine apart just to get the DVD player out. So I had to come downstairs here to our other TV entertainment area and watch it on there. So maybe I'll do that today. I need to get it watched. Mixed medium kind of. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So turned out really cute. So thanks for watching, everyone. Yeah, maybe I'll be, if I go to my kids tomorrow, I won't be on tomorrow, maybe I'll be Friday or over the weekend sometime. So thanks for chalking with me, and have a good rest of your week. Today's only, Wednesday? It's hump day. So I'll chalk with you later.